good today? What's up, everybody? Welcome into The Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We're powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it's not closed. We continue on the road today, outside of the friendly confines, but we are coming off a very good night at the brand. Our double showdown with EC, well, we both went 2-0. I did it in spectacular fashion. Cardinals, ninth inning home run to lose by 1. Royals down 2 in the 10th, come back to win. That's how you get your green check marks. And then the rest of the crew, solid 8-4. But as you know, we can't look back. We must look forward, and it is Wednesday. But it's not a bounce-back Wednesday. We don't need that today. But I do need my absolute very best, and that's exactly what I have today. You know him. You love him. Look who we have today. Oh, Amags is here. The maestro is here. The counselor is here. And the guru from just south of London, England, is here. Gentlemen, we have no time to waste, but I feel like we're moving into a world that I don't even know I want to get into. Rick in the chat says, hey, Cheesy, how do you feel about no runs in the first inning for the Tigers and the Pirates? Counselor, what world are we living in where we're asking Big Cheesy about a pick?
Well, I got to say, I'm curious, how did he respond? Just curious. And the only reason I say that, Coach, is because I kind of like this game. You know, I stayed away from the first 5 here because the price became a little prohibitive. It got to like minus 138, minus 145, depending on where you look. But because it's the early game, I do want to put it out there. And I think Amags may agree with me. We might have to wait for that. I'm not sure, Coach. But I do kind of like the Tigers' first 5 here. Again, you're having to pay an expensive price. And we know what Eduardo Rodriguez did with denying the Dodgers trade. So you wonder what his mental state is. But I got to think it's not a fragile one. I think he's going to go out there knowing the spotlight is on him and get it done against a Pittsburgh offense that just isn't very good.
Well, I'll take your analysis, or I'll take Big Cheesy's. Counselor. Now, one other little housekeeping item, because I think it's worth it. If you watched yesterday, you know why I am sitting where I am sitting. Today, 55 years ago, my wonderful parents got married. If you don't mind, could you put into the chat, congratulations, Mama and Papa Coach, for 55 years of marriage, the ups and the downs, 4 kids raising us and getting me to where I'm sitting in today. If you don't mind, please do that for me. I'd really appreciate it. And while you're doing that, let's get into the show. We have a lot to talk about today, and we're going to start with marquee matchups. I know football's right around the corner. We still have to focus on the diamond. Here we go. We're going to go totals today. We're changing it up just a little bit. These are all marquee matchups. We're going to take the total. Which one are we following or fading today? Rays, Yankees, 7.5. Orioles, Blue Jays, 8.5. Red Sox, Mariners, 7.5. That one went to the over last night. I cashed that late. Phillies and the Marlins, 7.5. So, Counselor, let me start with you. Which of these totals do you have your eye on, sir?
Yeah, I guess I have my eye on the Orioles over. I mean, you could have caught this at 8 earlier this morning or last night. Maybe it goes back down to 8. I'm not sure, but I still like it at 8.5. I mean, Rodriguez, I think, is talented. We don't exactly know what to expect from him game to game. I think he'll be okay. But then Kikuchi on the other side, who's been good lately. These two lineups, though, I think are going to get to these pitchers. So I lean to the over here.
All right. So we've got one over there. Well, yeah, Seattle's been really, really good lately, too. Just like Sia just illuminated. That's a big word, I know. Hopefully EC isn't watching. Illuminated, EC. Amags, I'm coming to you. You're wearing that Braves hat. They got a nice little win last night, but they haven't been playing Braves like baseball. We'll get to them in a little bit. But where are you focused on right here?
Yeah, if I was going to go from these 4 games, I actually do think that Miami Marlins one has a bit of an issue with Braxton Garrett on the one side. Last 2 starts before he had a good start against Detroit last time out, he had given up 10 runs. So I think against this Phillies offense, which saw them get going last year late in the season, I think could be another one against Garrett. So I would take the over in that one.
All right. So Amags and Counselor weigh in. Now I'm coming over to the Maestro. Maestro, I know you're laser focused. You're doing all your research on the NFL, but today I need to know what you like here.
I'm with Sia in terms of offense there. It was 13-3 last night. Kikuchi, has faced these Orioles and not done well, giving up a 1070 OPS, 9 homers and only 91 at-bats to this Orioles lineup. And on the other side, I love Grayson Rodriguez, but even though he has a 3.18 ERA since he got called back to the majors, one of those starts came against the Yankees, which I think is an asterisk at this point with the way they are not hitting at all. He's only going to go 5 innings. We know that. So I'll go over in Toronto.
All right, over in Toronto. A lot of runs the first couple of games in this series. Now, excuse me, look who is in the chat as we speak. Our 5-tool player, AB, Alan Bell. You have any questions for him? College football is coming up, baseball. Put them into the chat. He will answer them in real time. Now, we've got a busy, busy day for the crew. They're going to be everywhere. But if you download the CBS Sports app and then you hit that little tab to the left, it's CBS Sports HQ.
Get breaking news.
Big news coming out of the NFL today.
HQ. Highlights and instant reaction.
The largest final round comeback in 4 championship history. We're down to the final 4.
I just want to take time to analyze greatness.
Talk winners and losers with a guy who's already a big winner.
CBS Sports HQ. It's all sports all day long.
All right. Smooth. Just smooth right there. Now, busy schedule. Let's show it to you right here, right now. Later today, how about amazing Grace Remington before she hosts Early Edge at 5? She'll be on CBS Sports HQ at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Then at 6 tonight, getting you set for the night time. The Maestro, M Squared. Then at 8 p.m., you want a little live betting? Nobody better than Zach Attack and our man AB all day on CBS Sports HQ. Now, I've made the guru sit long enough, but I'm only going to bring him in for a second, and then I'll let him play in a moment. But how cool is it when I asked you guys to write, congratulations, Mama and Papa Coach? Guess who also did that in the chat? Guru. Tip of the cap, sir. Thank you very much. That was very, very nice of you. During the show. That's hashtag next level right there. Now, speaking of levels, let's pick the prop. Where are we going today? Oh, Matt Olson. Should have had him last night because he went the yard. So he's plus 250 today. Manny Machado of the Padres is plus 275. And then Yordan Alvarez of the Astros, who last night, sniper, shout out to you, predicting a win, but it was a no-hitter in 93 pitches. Amazing. So plus 300 for Alvarez today on the offensive side of the ball. Amags, how about we start with you? Who's going the yard for you today?
Well, you see the hat, Coach. I think today is Matt Olson's day. And I think you were probably thinking about 2 nights ago when he homered. Last night against a lefty, which we know as Olson's not his preferred side. He was over 2. So I think tonight getting back to that right side against Giolito, who, when he gives up homers, it's been to that left side. I think it's going to be a tough one for him. So give me Matt Olson.
Did you just correct me on this show?
I may have. Jury's out. Sia will help us out.
Stand up for yourself. Say, yes, I did. You made a mistake, Coach. Stand up for yourself. I was just testing you. Man, we're too soft on the early edge. Way too soft. Counselor, I'm coming to you. What do you like, big boy?
Yeah, I like Manny Machado here. He gets Kyle Freeland in Colorado. This is a 12.5 run total. Listen, plus 275. It's not a sexy number. It's kind of low, but honestly, Freeland, you got lit up by Oakland last time out. I think Manny and company go the yard maybe a couple times tonight.
All I heard was sexy. And when I hear sexy, I think south of London, England, and the guru. So, Martin W. Green, who are you picking out of these 3, sir?
When I think sexy, I just think of that hat. He's got a great hat on. He's got the same hat as Amags, so I'm going to go for him. I'm going to back that pick.
Hey, next level analysis right there. We can always count on the guru. Maestro, bring it home.
I'm with the guru at plus 250 on Matt Olson because I think this is going to be an early salute to your wonderful parents. It's an early day. He's going to go the yard. This guy has 36 homers. As Amags pointed out in his correction of you, how much he loves facing right-handed pitching with a slugging of 641, and Giolito's given up 22 homers, including 6 in his last 4 starts. That covers his new team and his old team, the White Sox.
Whoa. Don't think I didn't hear you slip that in right there. And Amags corrected you. CID also said, educate Amags. Oh, starting to get a little big head over there with the big hat with the big A on it. I will deal with you in a moment. But as you guys know, and Ray said it in the chat, if you haven't watched the early wedge yet, what are you doing? The great Steve Scott was on with us yesterday. It's an incredible 45 minutes. Counselor Patrick McDonald, Steve Scott getting you ready for the last regular season event on the PGA Tour schedule, the Wyndham Championship. We will also have picks every single day right here on the early edge for each particular round. But after this week, the top 70 in the world, basically, they get to tee it up here.
When you're the FedEx Cup champion, your name's on this trophy forever. This is our season-long race. This is the sought-after trophy when we tee it up, the first event of the season that you think about.
3 tournaments with the world's best golfers battling for the tour's toughest trophy to win, the FedEx Cup. The playoffs begin August 12th on CBS.
I cannot wait for Memphis, Tennessee, the FedEx St. Jude event #1 live right here on CBS. By the way, Rebecca in the chat always has something good to say. She said, no one will ever be able to say anything but the yard again. Now, the other side of it is TJ says, I'm tired of the yard, but I get it. Are we going to stop because TJ doesn't like it? I doubt it. Now, when we started this show 2.5 years ago, me and the Maestro, day one, I used to say this, and then we kind of sped up the show a little bit. We didn't do introductions anymore, but today I feel like it's necessary. So it is time for our board today, coming off an 8-4 day. So ladies and gentlemen, up first from just south of London, England, he is the guru, Martin W. Green. You're up, sir.
Thank you very much, Coach. I am training my focus on Florida today. Big game taking place. Orlando City eased to a 3-1 victory over Inter Miami back in May, leaving their rivals rock bottom of the Eastern Conference standings. But much has changed since then because Inter Miami have signed Lionel Messi, arguably the greatest player of all time. He inspired them to a magnificent 4-0 victory over Atlanta United last week. They've also signed his former Barcelona teammate Sergio Busquets, which has transformed their midfield. They're just a completely different team now, and I think they should be able to avenge that 3-1 defeat today. I got odds of -113 at Caesars on this pick a couple of days ago, so the odds are going in the wrong direction, but I still think there's value on -135. I think Inter Miami get the win. You can always combine Inter Miami and over 1.5 goals if you want a bit more value on that one. I also have a little weekend parlay if there's time to give that one out, Coach. Okay, I'm going to go for Rangers and Genk, 2-team parlay. Rangers have won their last 6 games against Kilmarnock. I think they should extend that streak, while I think that Genk look capable of securing a 6th home win against Eupen in a row. So I've got -116 on that 2-leg parlay.
I really, really like that. I got a quick question for you, because now with Lionel Messi being in Miami, how do you think that changed the perception or changes the perception of Inter Miami as far as the future, the, winning games down the road or winning championships? How big of a deal is it in your mind?
It's a huge deal in terms of how competitive they're going to be in MLS, I think. It's just like finding some random basketball team in England and giving them LeBron James. It's just that's the impact that it will have. He can transform their fortunes. He's the best player of all time, in my opinion. And yes, he's getting on a bit in age now, but he still inspired Argentina to victory at the World Cup just back in December. So he's still pretty much operating at the peak of his powers. He was unstoppable against Atlanta United in their last game. And if he stays physically fit, there's no reason why they shouldn't dominate the MLS for a couple of years. And he'll help them attract more players of a higher quality and improve the standard of the players around him as well. So great signing for Inter Miami.
And you can get all of this great information, all of our soccer guys, Guru, Buckets, our silent assassin, Brant Sutton, if you are a SportsLine member. But how do you do it? Well, guess what? I'm going to do you a solid. Me, the coach, right here, right now. All you got to do, scan that QR code or download sportsline.com and join. I will give you 60% off your first 3 months. Use the promo code COACH. First 3 months, 60% off. Then after that, we'll be in November, and you'll be playing with house money for the rest of the football season. Become a member right here and right now. By the way, Bradley says more goals for Miami. That's what Messi equals. How about over 2.5? I love that bet normally. I'm not saying tonight. I'm just saying I love that bet. All right. Guru, phenomenal. Now, you talk about LeBron James just dropping into a team in Europe and making them better. That's how I used to feel about Amags. But today has somewhat shifted my perception of our young stud here in the baseball world. But alas, I am a professional, if nothing else. And Amags, you're up next, sir.
All right, Coach. Well, I will give you a little bit of credit here. The chat came to your defense that last night Matt Olson hit a home run just foul, and then they had to review it to call it foul. So you do get a bit of credit back on that one. But I'm going with one pick, and it is from the early games today. So I do like that game that Sia already mentioned there, the Detroit Tigers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And we get Eduardo Rodriguez, who, as you already heard, he turned down being traded to the Dodgers. The Dodgers had a deal in place with the Detroit Tigers. They thought they had their guy, and then he said no. The Dodgers are one of the 10 teams on his no-trade clause, and he said he did not want to go out there, pick up his life for a couple of months to go try to win a championship. If I remember correctly, he has a ring with the Red Sox, so maybe that's not for him. And last season, we saw him sit out a good portion of the year with some supposed family troubles. That's as far as he's gotten into it. So I don't think he wanted to pick up and move, and that actually directly correlates to my play. A lot of times I'll bet numbers. This one is a little bit more by feel. When Eduardo Rodriguez got hurt, he went over this. He had gone over this number in 7 of 9 of his starts. Then he got hurt. He comes back. He's only gone over 16.5 outs once in the 4 starts since coming back. But I do think today's the day he gets over. He has a good matchup against the Pirates. And after turning down that trade, he's got to come out and show that he not only is healthy, but he's the guy. He can perform well. And there's really no reason to hold him back or to go out there and get him early. There's nothing to save him for. He's probably not re-signing with Detroit. I think he easily gets into that 6th inning, and we can get, not only out of the 6th, but into the 7th, really.
Dustin in the chat says, let's freaking go, Amags. I love that. We get to the 6th inning, we cash that ticket. Interesting that he didn't take the trade when he had the opportunity, but hey, everybody to each their own. Now, 2 down, 2 to go. And we had PGA Tour, Sia, 24 hours ago. Check out the early wedge live in your feed right now. But I need, I don't know, perhaps first 5, Sia, to show up this morning. Is he here?
He's here. And by the way, maybe Eduardo Rodriguez just doesn't want teams buying championships like the Dodgers and the Yankees, by the way, who are the subject of my first 5. I've got the Yankees. I don't think I've taken the Yankees all year because they're the Yankees and they're typically, the price isn't good. They're overvalued. But here, now that they've been slumping, now that we kind of know who the Yankees actually are, I'm going to take them with their best pitcher on the hill. Yankees first 5 money line -125. They're at home against the Rays. Cole versus McClanahan. McClanahan, he hasn't been great lately. In his defense, great competition. Last 3 games, the Astros, the Orioles, and the Rangers. But even prior to that, he wasn't really on his game. So I think just like the Tampa Rays, like I said, I know they're on a 3-game winning streak, but they're kind of wilting a bit too over the last couple of months. So McClanahan's sort of on that same trajectory. And I like what Cole's been doing. He's been locked in. He was great against those same Orioles that McClanahan went against. He was great against the Royals. He was great against the Rockies. I just think we have a good price on the Yankees, and it happens to be with their best pitcher. I think they're a little desperate, and I just don't think the Rays are the team that we thought they were a couple of months ago. So again, Yankees at home, coming off a few losses. I think this is a really good spot to take their first 5. Cole's going to get it done, -125.
Did you use the word finally? Or, as my former compatriot, coworker, peer, The Rock used to say, finally. Did you just say that? Did I hear you say that?
Yeah, Coach, I don't want to correct you because I don't want to go 2 for 2 here. But I think you're right. It was probably the first finally. Not The Rock finally. Yeah.
Right. So as I hear that word, I couldn't help but think to myself, finally, I have a first 5 pick of Sia's that I don't like. So Sia Nejad, counselor of cash, I've got just one question for you. Are you in or are you out?
I still need to recoup some of the money from our golf bet a couple of weeks ago involving Scotty Scheffler. That was a triple showdown. So this is installment 1 of 3 in recouping that money. Snake, play the music.
It's gonna be a showdown. I apologize. I had to close my eyes for a second, imagining what I'm going to buy with the next $100 that goes into my account because it feels so good. Oh, the Yankees can't score. That little problem. You got to score to win. I love a good battle with the counselor. Now, another man who loves a great battle. It doesn't matter the sport. It doesn't matter if it's sports betting or on the pickleball court. The man is always ready to go. So as I look at my notes, I see not one, but 2 big plays today. This is the Maestro spot. He is the Maestro. Floor is yours.
All right, let's start with the day game. I'm going to take the Padres on the run line, finally playing like they should have been all season. They've won 4 of 5. They've outscored their opponents 27-13. There was an extra inning loss to these Rockies. But today you have Joe Musgrove, who's basically been the best pitcher in baseball over his last 12 starts with a 1.85 ERA, going up against Kyle Freeland and his bottom 3% strikeout rate, bottom 10%, and a lot of other metrics. And a lot of these Padres have very good histories against Kyle Freeland. I'll play the run line with the road team. And then later tonight, Baltimore Orioles first baseman Ryan Mountcastle to go over 1.5 total bases, getting to face Yusei Kikuchi. He's only 5 for 10 with 4 homers and a double against him. He's already got 4 doubles in this series. He's 5 for 8 in the series, slugging .684 against left-handed pitching. Just love this matchup for Mountcastle. I would love to see this happen in his first at-bat, but I'll be patient even if it takes the whole game.
I love a good Maestro sweat. I would love to see this wait till like the 8th inning. Then he hits a double to the gap, and we're all good. By the way, you guys know sometimes I've got to set the record straight, correct? We have to do that. And we'll admit when we were wrong. We just did that earlier in the show. But also when the chat is wrong. So David in the chat says, Coach, did you pay EC? Well, David, clearly you watched yesterday. But clearly you were not here at the top of the show. Show up on time. When you're 2-0, it is literally impossible to lose a bet. We pushed because we both went 2-0. You're welcome, America. David, sit down. Don't text me when you don't have your information correct. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Sorry. I feel really good today. All right. Are we all good? Everybody's good? Oh, yes. Sia, please.
Just one more thing. We are Timmy Smith days away from NFL season, otherwise known as Jerome Bettis days, otherwise known as 36 days away from NFL kickoff.
One of my favorite guys I ever worked with at ESPN. Everybody loved the bus. And one of these days when I have time, I'll tell you my Big Ben bus John Cena wrestling story that happened a few years ago. That's just a little tease. And it was amazing. It was amazing. I'll just say that. I'll tell it on one of the stories, on one of the shows later. But right here, right now, grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here's the recap, courtesy of the Snake. And don't forget about Early Edge in 5. More best bets for the night in sports, but here and now. Sia Nejad, Yankees first 5 money line, but we've got a showdown. I'm taking the Rays. He's got the Yankees. And Amags on Eduardo Rodriguez. All we need him to do, just get into that 6th inning, and we're all good. Maestro, 2 big plays today. Padres on the run line, -145. Ryan Mountcastle, over 1.5 total bases, -104. Then the Guru. We're going to Inter Miami. When Kim Kardashian shows up, you know it's a big game. Did I just say that? Rangers money line and Ank money line, -116. Martin, real quick, what league are those 2 teams in, please?
So Rangers are in the Scottish Premiership and Genk are in the Belgian Pro League.
There you go. Belgian and Scottish. We go worldwide here on the Early Edge. Don't forget, check out the Early Wedge. Also follow us at SportsLine. We've got 2 amazing videos up there from the great Steve Scott giving you some inside information on who to bet on and what type of player to bet on this week at the Wyndham Championship. We try to cover you top to bottom, left to right. But with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all happy 55th, Mom and Dad. These tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, Lobo, counselor, maestro, Amags, and of course the guru. Always putting in the work. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. And Snake, this show looks better than ever. We're a lock for the best sports podcast in America. But we'll win that later. Right now, we grind for you so we can win with you. It's what we're all about right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.